Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I am your host, Ashley Live. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. This is episode 101, and I'm really excited to bring you tonight's guest. This will be his second appearance on Vibin with Ashley Live. So tonight's guest is Nelson Cade III, and if you guys have been watching this show since the very beginning, Nelson was on episode 4. And now he's on episode 101, which is crazy to me because it's been almost a year later. I had him on my show last September, and everything can change in like a year. So Nelson has a lot of awesome stuff he's going to be announcing on tonight's show. And I'm excited for you guys to hear what's going on. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Colette. So, a little bit about Nelson. Singer, songwriter, pianist, guitarist. His passion for music started at a very young age. In 2020, Nelson was featured on season 18 of NBC's hit show The Voice, and he was on Team Legend. He was also a 4-chair turn, so if you guys know anything about The Voice, 4 judges turned their chairs for Nelson because Nelson's so awesome. And guess what, guys? Next month, Nelson will be playing at the Baltimore Jazz Fest. So Nelson is in the room, and let's get this party started. Nelson!
Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome back. Thank you, Nelson, for spending your Saturday evening with me.
Nowhere else I'd rather be.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that. So I was just introducing you to the room, and I was letting people know that you're playing Baltimore Jazz Fest next month.
It's true. I'm going to have, I think, a 30-minute set where I get to do all my jazzy stuff, which is interesting. Jazz is going to be a newer venture. It's not like where I came from, but I'm happy to explore all facets of music. Going to be, I know it's in, I want to say, a southern part of Baltimore. I'd be lying if I said I knew the county exactly. I'm just excited for it.
But guys, if you just Google Baltimore Jazz Fest, you'll find all the information on it. Now, it's a 2-day festival, right?
Yes, it's going to be a 2-day, and I believe I'm playing on the second day. Oh, there's the link. I just saw it in the comments.
Hold on a second. That link that I just pinned is for Baltimore Jazz Fest, and that's where you can find all the information performing. So guys, if you're in the area, go see him and hear his fun jazz songs.
Yep, it's going to be very interesting. I'm still working on a couple things. A lot of things are in the workshop right now. It's going to be a nice little experiment.
Awesome. Hold on, just pick it. So Nelson, you were fortunate to come on my show at the very beginning.
Yep, I feel like one of the guinea pigs.
Yes, he was one of my guinea pigs for the show. So I launched the show last August, and you were my 4th guest in September. And when I think of like the time that has passed, and like we're still in this pandemic, and like vaccines are available, but like we might go back into lockdown. Like it's so crazy with everything that's going on now, right?
Yeah, I feel like we're due for like one more lockdown. Not looking forward to that, but
yeah.
Oh man, so many things have happened since when last we spoke. So it's going to be a really good interview. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes! I'm so excited too. Nelson, I start each interview off with a song lyric. So tonight's song is going to be Gravity by John Mayer.
Okay.
I know you love this. Some lyrics. And you're going to either tell me what this song means to you or what John Mayer means to you. Cool?
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, cool. Gravity is working against me, and gravity wants to bring me down. Oh, I've never known what makes this man, with all the love that his heart can stand, dream of ways to throw it all away.
Sorry, I love that song, Low Gravity. So, before I can talk about what that song means to me specifically, so John Mayer is definitely one of my favorite guitarists alive, like top three. He is so ridiculously good at this instrument.
Yeah.
Also, I love his songwriting style because he's he knows a lot about the anatomy of a song, and it's like he learned all the ways that you're supposed to write a song, took it to heart for about 5 seconds, forgot it, and then just did his own thing. So he can acknowledge all the rules, but he follows the ones that he wants to, and then makes everything else mold to him, and I love that.
Yeah.
That song specifically, it was that's actually the first song that I ever learned how to loop.
Really?
Yeah, that's the first loop song that I ever actually heard. And there's so many cool renditions of Gravity. And I think that my favorite one, it's I wish I could think of the young man's name, but there's a piano cover of it that's crazy on YouTube, and it's got Yeba, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
So that is by far my favorite version of it, besides the original.
Right.
And oh man, what it means to me, it's just it's a song about hope, in my opinion. Like, things are like, there are just forces that are working against you that are just outside of your control, and it's about perseverance. You have to push through it, and that's cool. That's everybody that's still here. Yeah, we just pushed through an entire quarantine. There's a lot of perseverance on all our parts. It's a
Definitely.
really relatable song.
Yeah. Yeah. Perseverance and drive, and like one foot in front of the other.
Yes, definitely. Also, I saw my boy D Lyles in the chat. What's up, Darius?
Yes, Darius. What's up, Darius? Darius
Oh man.
also from The Voice.
Yup. That's my partner, man. He's a good guy. I liked working with him.
Yes, that. Oh my gosh, when you guys were on stage together and you were singing "Come Together," woo!
Dude.
It was so amazing.
I've been working on a weird looper cover of that one too. A lot of my loops, I like mashing them with other songs to the
Yeah.
point where this shouldn't work, but it does. And I play the lick, and that works with.
Oh,
So I'm figuring out a way to put superstition into Come Together, and it's really wacky and crazy, but it's fun.
oh my gosh, please let me know when you, I don't know, post it on Spotify or post the video, because I love stuff like that. You're so creative with your covers and like all that, and I think that's so amazing.
That's one of my favorite things to do at my performances. Like, before I left on tour, I got to play at this really cool place in Elkridge. Oh man, I can't think of the name of the place. It's a beautiful restaurant, and it's in like this amazing manor. It's like a great wedding spot.
Yeah.
And I introduced the song, and I was like, "So, have any of you guys ever heard of the Pixies?" And
Yeah.
like, there was like a few people that are like, "Yeah, what do you know about the Pixies?" And I was like, "I know this one song." Actually, that's a lie. Hold on, I can't even think of it. Why can't I think of the chords right? Well, anyway, it's Where Is My Mind, and for whatever reason, I can't think of the chords right now, but it evades me. I basically start off with those chords, right? So everybody thinks that it's the Pixies, and I start singing Coldplay, and it's hilarious because everybody's like, what's happening? This doesn't make sense, but it works. Like, it's in key, and I'm playing Fix You. I'm singing Fix You while I'm playing the Pixies.
Wow.
And I'm not changing anything. It is the exact same melody of Fix You. It just is superimposed onto the exact same chord progression as Pixies. And it's hilarious. And I go all the way to like the first chorus, sing the chorus, and then I go into Pixies. I start singing the Pixies without changing anything else. And people are just like, oh, it's just the whole time you're thinking this shouldn't work, this shouldn't work. And then after I do the Pixies, I just go into 21 Pilots. Same chord progression. I just start singing Ride. And it's just like everyone is just confused and just going along with it. It's the best thing. This is the kind of stuff that I like do. I figure this stuff like when I'm in my room alone, just chilling. My brain works too fast sometimes. I try to keep up.
Awesome, because you just sprinkle a little Nelson magic on it, and you know what I mean? And it's like, wait, what? Because, right, we all could just sing a song that everybody knows, but when you take a different melody and then you put the lyrics on top of it, and they're like, wait, what are you playing right now? And they're like, wait, I know this.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes together now.
Yeah, it's It's pretty fun. I love watching people try to figure it out as I'm putting the loop together because it's a fun interaction. Like you start off with just a bass line. And then you just have to. And it's so cool watching it build and all these layers start adding up. Sometimes I'll loop vocals. Most of the time you have to be careful because acoustics are a thing and it is so much math. But it's a really cool interactive thing to do because I usually won't tell people exactly what it is that I'm about to play. I kind of just start, let them try to figure it out because there's so much context that I leave open. So it's a lot to interpret. And then once you start singing the Coldplay, they're just like, well, I don't understand what's happening.
I love it.
So fun. Oh my God, it's so much fun. I have several of those that are fun to see during shows.
Yes. So guys, if you haven't seen Nelson live, it is a treat. Like he is just everywhere. You never know what's going to pop up.
I don't know what's going to pop up. I don't think I've ever done a show where I had a set list like in my brain before I walked up on the stage. It's just, I go up, I look at the crowd, I mean, it really is a vibe check. Like you feel out the room. Like, are there a bunch of people my age? Is it like mostly people younger than me? Is it mostly people older than me? Like you're looking at demographics and what does it feel like? Did something horrible happen today? Play sad songs. It was just like a great feeling. Like when everybody was getting out of quarantine, it's like everybody's pumped up. So like you play that kind of music and it's
totally.
Yeah, having a set list it feels limiting. I like being able to just accept whatever song comes into my head. Like, yeah, I feel that. And then you just play it. And maybe I play it weirdly. I don't know.
Hey, but it's in the moment. It's fun. And you're just like, we're rocking with it.
Yup.
Yes. So let's start from the very beginning. So you took piano lessons in first grade. And then in high school, you taught yourself to play guitar. So how did music shape your childhood?
How did music shape my childhood? That's a really cool way to put that. I will never forget when I was like 6, maybe 5 when I started, and I went to like this super sheltery like private Christian school, right?
Yeah.
I would say from like kindergarten all the way up to like 12th grade. Actually, no, it was a junior academy, so I think it only went up to 10th grade. So from like kindergarten to 10th grade, there was probably like less than 400 students. Pretty small student body.
Yeah.
And out of the whole school, there was this one dude. I think his name was Steven, and he was the only person that could play piano, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And we would have chapel every Friday, and in my brain, I'm thinking, because this one kid can play piano, I don't have to be in class for like 30 minutes. Instead, I just get to like sing Christian songs and stuff. So I was like, this is the coolest kid in the universe, and I want to do that. So I asked my parents for piano lessons, and my dad was like, all right, cool. I'll pay for piano lessons. Here's the thing. If you start, you're not allowed to stop. I'm like 6. I don't know what commitment is. So I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's go. And we start with piano lessons. They find this old school, like Russian piano teacher. Her name was Narcissa Mikov. She is amazing. I will never forget that woman. And whoo, man, I remember I did the same thing that every child does when you start lessons. You start banging on the instrument because you want to just be good. And she's like, no, 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 closes the piano. And she's like, you don't get to touch the instrument until you can read and write music.
Wow.
So, yeah, we went old school, old school. She was amazing. And yeah, I could read and write music before I started playing. I was doing that while we were doing like ABCs and learning cursive and stuff like that. So it was pretty crazy. And I did not like piano at all. It was the worst thing in the world. I don't think it would be a lie to say that I hated it for like the first 3 years.
Wow.
It was a chore. You could never get me to practice. I didn't want to practice. I would do everything that I could to not practice. And around the 3-year mark, I think I was around 4th grade, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I don't really want to go anywhere else. I'm playing piano. I want to practice. And it became this thing where it wasn't a routine. It's what I wanted to do. I was looking forward to practice. I liked learning a new thing.
Yeah.
And I think it was because by that time it became an asset. It wasn't this language that I was starting to learn, and there was this huge barrier, and like everything was hard to interpret. Like at this point, I had my verbs, I had my nouns, I knew the chords, I knew the scales, like I could figure out my way. Like I was at this point, it was like legible.
Yeah.
And it got crazier, faster. You start learning pieces that you've heard before. I was listening and consuming more classical music, started getting into like Mendelssohn and like Beethoven, Brahms, Tchaikovsky, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And it shaped my childhood a lot. Like a lot of people are like, you sacrifice for all this stuff. And that's true. There was a lot of parties that I could have gone to, a lot of outings that I could have done. And I was practicing for a lot of it. But also, like, you get to do recitals. There's a whole world of music appreciation. And I feel like every artist is going to understand this to some extent. Art is not entirely subjective, and it's also not entirely objective. If I had to argue that it was more one than the other, I would say art is more objective. And I say that because good music is good music whether or not you understand it is or recognize that it is. Like some people don't recognize certain things. And sometimes you have to be taught. Like if I were to look at certain sculptures, I couldn't tell you how much work it is to take one piece of marble and chisel it down to the point where it looks like it's fabric. Like I can be amazed at that, but I haven't been trained like that. So when it comes to all the classical music appreciation, you start learning all of these intricacies, and you learn all of the tiny little details that go into what makes this amazing work of art. So anytime you hear somebody that can emulate that, it's like mind-blowing because you're listening to a lot. And that took place in my childhood, and I didn't realize that it was happening. It's like Karate Kid. Like, you're doing all these motions, and you have no idea that the wax on, wax off is really a movement that you're going to use one day.
Right.
By the time I got to teenage years, and when all of a sudden pianos weren't really around, I had the whole wax on, wax off thing, and I just relocated it to a new instrument. At that point, I knew music. I just had to learn it on a different medium. So teaching myself guitar wasn't crazy difficult because I was like, if I could just figure out how to play a G chord, I know what to do with it, kind of thing. So that was a fun thing. It was nice to be able to express myself with music. It's huge. Everybody needs an outlet.
Definitely. So how would you describe the music that you create?
How do I describe the music I create? Eclectic, in a word. Because that means both my super strange covers and my original music, which is so cool to say now. I have original music, guys. My album is officially done. I got like my final mix and mastered versions like this week.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that soon. But how do I describe it? So I like to say that I am multi-generational because I have played things from lots of genres and lots of generations of music. And when it comes to writing, I don't think I've ever written something to appeal to... It's never about like conforming to something. When I wrote all the songs on this last album, it was from a place of... let's just say extreme emotions, going through all kinds of stuff. I was depressed for a while, and when you're just super down like that, my coping mechanism was just, I don't want to say straight up nihilism, but it's like I got to the point where I had to stop caring about things. And I'm a perfectionist, especially when it comes to this. So I struggled with writing music because I would write a song, I'd write lyrics, and then the last thing that you do is you trim the fat. Like, what can I do without? And because something's not perfect, I'll cross out words, and then phrases, and then entire lines, and then stanzas, and then the whole song is not perfect, and so I'll just delete everything. And that happened over and over and over again for years. And when you're that close into it, you don't see how much of a mega problem that is.
Yeah.
And when I was in this depression, that kind of like that coping mechanism of not caring, that kind of canceled out that perfectionist. So I would write something and I would be like, it is what it is. It's good enough. And then I would leave it alone. And when I grew and started being healthier and taking care of myself and everything, much better place, and I'm really proud. I look back at everything that's left and I'm like, this is actually good enough. Like, I'm okay with this. And all of a sudden I had finished songs, like an album and some change worth. So that was wild, because like as I was making it, I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. It's just, I need to survive today. This is how I feel, kind of a thing. And that's not to say that this album's going to be depressing, because it's not. Like, it's just when I was expressing emotion, whether or not it's happiness or sadness or heartbreak or love and the beauty of it, whether or not it works out, it's just vibrant. And that's what I'm trying to catch. It's not just the color, but the brilliance of the color, I guess. So it's an interesting writing style. I'm kind of new to learning about different writing styles. I've been introduced to how other people write. Got to do 2 co-writes. That was really cool. We'll be talking about that shortly, because that's part of the big news that I have. Yes. And it was really cool to write with other people, because I got to bring in how I do it, which was kind of new to them. And they showed me, certain formulas that people use. And there was this whole structure and organization to it that is quite useful. And it helped put things in context. And I got faster at it. And I was like, whoa, okay, now I get to create things faster. And it's been really exciting since then.
Yeah, I think that's so amazing what you said about you're trying to write, right? And you're this perfectionist. And then all of a sudden, like, you're crossing things out. But then to get yourself out of this depression, you just kept writing and writing and writing and writing. And then you're like, wait, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess, how did you, first off, you don't have to get too far into it if you don't want to, but what ways did you get yourself out of your depression? Like, for people that are struggling, especially during this pandemic, what do you recommend people do when they're feeling down and they're just like, oh my gosh, we're in this pandemic and it's like almost 2 years later, right?
It's a beautiful question. I love that I can talk about this. So first and foremost, do not, and I know that you've heard this before, but sometimes you need to hear the same thing 100 different times. Do not beat yourself up. I am like the poster child of that thing. That's just, it doesn't help. You don't get anything out of it. If anything, it just makes things worse. Also, understand that even if it doesn't feel good, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So grow if you're not where you want to be. And at your own pace. I was not happy with all kinds of things in my life. Like, as you can imagine, being a musician and quitting your day job because things are working out, getting on TV and all this stuff, like,
yeah,
the quarantine hit pretty hard for a lot of us. That and all kinds of other personal things. So I wasn't happy with my body. I wasn't happy with my career. I wasn't happy with most things. And I didn't even understand it all at that time. It's just, you feel the symptoms. You don't understand what's happening. Yeah. So one of the things that helped me out was, you start working out, doing a little bit better there. And I'm happy about that. Cause like, you're not going to see results immediately, but hey, I'm at like a 7th month, line. I'm pretty happy. I can see some things. I'm all excited. I've never had like muscles before, but it's cool.
You have muscles now?
Just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, not gonna hurt y'all, but yeah, I can do some things. Definitely a lot more than I could before. Yeah. And yeah, like, working out is a lot. It gives you something to be proud of. Like, there are days where getting out of bed is a lot, and if you do that, that's something worth being proud of. Like, sometimes making yourself a meal is enough to be proud of, and you need that. So you start off slow. Just move. Try to take in something, or recognize the beauty in something in that day. Maybe, I have 2 dogs, a snake, and a cat. So, like, pets help a lot. I love animals of all kinds. I couldn't care less. The only thing I don't like are bugs. That's a lie. They fascinate me. Just don't like them on me. And it's like, it's little things. I wouldn't say that there's any one big thing that's going to get you out of it. Just take it in stride, one day at a time, kind of a thing. Work on yourself. Reading can be difficult if it's not what you're into, but it helps. And it doesn't have to be like a straight up self-help book. I mean, you could read, one of my favorite things, not during the depression, but one of my favorite series is it's called Redwall. I read it like when I was a kid, and it's a really cool series about like medieval like mice and like animals, and they fight each other. That's really cool. Yeah. But like reading can help because it puts you in like a different universe. You know, fiction, sci-fi, that's my thing. I love that.
Yeah.
You get, you know, your outlet music obviously helped me a lot because then you can express what you're feeling. I think that one thing that's kind of weird about depression is that it's not necessarily a void of emotion. It's kind of like this numbness. You're still feeling things, but sometimes you're not aware of it. So having the outlet can kind of bring back that sensation that you're missing. Because like when you're feeling numb and you can still play something, I can still feel my strings, you know, on my fingers, and like that brings back certain things. All of a sudden I can hear a melody that wasn't there before, and it's just piece by piece you pick up things that just make you feel more whole. It reminds you of who you are, and then you get to be proud of that because you're growing. And that's, I feel like that's really the key. You're growing. Like you don't have to rush that, you know. You are going to be tomorrow more than you were today.
Yeah.
And that is something to look forward to. That is hope.
Of course. Yeah. And I think working out is so big because, right, even if you just say, I'm going to go around the block and just take like 6-7 minutes for myself.
Yeah, that's a lot. And you should be proud of that. Like when I first started, I was lifting like the bar. That's it. I was not doing much. But, you know, first it's like you can do maybe 5, 10 push-ups. Maybe you can't do a push-up. Like, that's okay. It doesn't matter where you start at all. It
Yeah.
matters that you continue, that you keep going. So now I'm doing things now that I did not think that I was going to be able to do, which is really, really exciting. Like
Yeah.
it's just, and you get a new sense of pride in yourself and this person that you are becoming. You start solving that question of who am I? And at this point, I've come to realize that you're never actually going to answer that. Who am I is never going to be this definitive answer, and that's kind of cool. Like, I'm not sure if I would want to know everything about me. Like,
Right.
it's kind of cool knowing that I'm still figuring things out. I think I'm always going to. I think that there's a lot of intrigue to that, you know?
Well, thank you so much for being so honest and, you know, about that. I think it's so important that we talk about these things, especially because there's a lot of people that this pandemic has hit hard, whether it was back in March of 2020 when it first went, because we're like still in this. Like,
Basically.
yeah, with what's going on across the country, like, are we getting shut down? Like now vaccines are being mandatory in, you know, certain state governments and at certain places, but it's like, what's going on? Like, this is just like crazy. So we have to find ways to make ourselves happy every day. And you're right, one day at a time. Like, what's going to make you happy right now?
Whew, right now, I like, so I'm taking my hat off because it's like dark.
Yeah.
I'm an extrovert, so I like being around people.
Yeah.
Fellowship, togetherness, that kind of thing is really cool. I also am an artist, so I like creation. I like making things out of nothing.
Yeah.
It's funny, it used to be video games, and since I've moved, all of my consoles are still in California, so that was like, I had to stop cold turkey, which is probably one of the reasons why I've been so like productive. Not to hate on gamers, I love the community. I miss you guys so much.
Yeah.
But let me see, what makes me happy on a daily basis. You know, I've got like my small circle of friends left, and you know, talking to them is, whew, it is more than they know. When I look back on like the best parts of my days these days, it's whatever conversation I had with somebody is. That's always the best. If I can physically be with people, that is the best part of my day, every day.
Yeah. And it's sometimes it's such simple things, right? It's like, oh, you just called someone, you talked to them for 10 minutes. And maybe it wasn't anything of substance, but it was just like, oh, you know, hey, Jeff, how's your day going? And then Jeff, you know, tells you and whatever. And he's like, okay, well, I kind of got to run. But sometimes it's just nice to hear that voice on the other line.
Yes, it can make someone's entire day.
Completely.
Yes.
So what can you tell me about learning music production?
Oof. Not much. That is not my forte. I was teaching myself that at the beginning of the pandemic because, you know, I needed to do something, and it just seemed like the best way to move forward. So
Yeah.
I have Logic. I use a lot of IK multimedia products because they're freaking awesome. They
Yeah.
endorse me. But they I was using it to do like these really weird, sometimes looper ideas, and I would do really strange covers, and sometimes it was like original things, and I would send them to my friend Josh, who is like one of the three people behind the album. The entire album, by the way, is myself, Josh, great friend of mine, and Austin, also a great friend of mine. Newer friend, but dude, fast friends. This guy's so cool. They're both so cool. Yeah. So Josh is like the music producer. That is his skill set. He is better than he knows, but that's okay because he's learning that he's really good at it. Yeah. And Austin, he's got a lot of that skill set too, but he's also amazing, musician. And I got to capitalize off of his bass and drum skills because those are two instruments that I do not have command over just yet. Yeah. So he is the bass and the drummer on all the songs. And then Josh produced everything, and then every other instrument or vocal that you hear is me. And that's the album. It was so crazy and wild.
Yeah. It's cool that you had like such a small knit group of people, because sometimes when you make an album, it's like 20, 30 people, but it was literally just you and two other people.
That's all it could have been. I mean, it was such a passion piece. This album should not exist. It should not have happened. Like, I wrote all of these things because of what I was dealing with mentally and emotionally. Yeah. Somehow I didn't delete it all because I stopped caring. Right. And once I was grown to the point where, okay, I can acknowledge what I did and I'm happy with it, I basically spent all the money that I had left in the world to get to California, because I do live in Baltimore now. So okay. I flew to California, and I was like, all right, Josh, I have all these songs, and I need you to help me record them so it actually sounds good, because I can't produce this, or at least if I try to produce this, I'm not going to be happy with it. Yeah. So, I mean, I couldn't even afford to do right to the extent that I wanted to do right by them. Like I said, all of my money was spent on getting there. Right. They housed me. When I was on the plane, I didn't know where I was going to stay, and I wasn't worried about that. This, come hell or high water, this album was going to happen because it had to. Yeah. That's faith. And they housed me. They fed me. I mean, they took me in, both of them. Mm-hmm. I will always honor that. And we worked out of their studios, and I mean, it was like the best time. And it's crazy because the work was insane. Like, we were in the studio basically before noon almost every single day, and there were days where we weren't getting back home until like 1 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were still in the studio the next day before noon. And I'd be lying if I said that wasn't the best time of my life. It was so much fun. Yeah. And they were all down. It was like the craziest brotherhood camaraderie kind of thing. And now that the songs are like completed and done, yeah, we're all really happy with what happened and how it happened. And we're going to be doing this again. We already have dates. We're going to be going to Nashville and just like basically doing the same thing. We're bringing their equipment. I'm going to be bringing Ruthie, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yes. That's so cool that you were in there for so long with them. And it was, I mean, it's awesome for you because you were with two other people who were helping you get this album done. You being an extrovert, it helped to just get out of your house and be yes. with other people and just be like, yo, this is the situation. And then you collab and you're like, well, how does this sound? And then one of them's like, oh, we should do this to it, right? Mm-hmm. Because that collaboration, you guys being all in the same place together. Yeah, I'm so excited to hear this album.
I'm going to be playing 2 songs tonight from the album. I'm going to be playing Good Morning Beautiful, which has a crazy story behind it. Yeah. And Love is Like Sand, also a crazy story behind it. So, yeah, when we get to that point, yeah, get to drop some sneak peeks for you guys. Let you hear what the inside of my head sounds like.
Awesome. So for those people who don't know, you were on season 18 of The Voice. You wore Chair Turn. You sung Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan. You killed it. What made you pick that song for your blind audition?
Whew, man. This is an interesting question because it's got a lot of parts to it. Yeah. So The Voice kind of operates like American Idol in some aspects. Yeah. Like, there is this, like, you know how American Idol, you see like the convention center and like the thousands of people trying out. So in order to get onto the show, that exists. There's all kinds of hurdles that you have to jump. And when I first made that hurdle, the funny thing was I didn't even sign up for that. I didn't know that I was going to be doing that. My girlfriend at the time took us to LA like we always do. I thought that she was going to be walking around taking pictures, and I usually just wander around with my guitar aimlessly behind her, so she's accompanied. And we just do that. So I thought that we were just doing that. Nope, we get to the convention center. I'm like, what are we doing? We're never here. She hands me some paperwork, kicks me out of the car. She's like, go sing for these people. And I was like, what? She signed me up. She registered me the whole 9 yards. And like 5 hours of waiting, I'm in a room and they're like, so what are you going to sing? And that came to mind. The whole Stevie Ray Vaughan. I played actually I didn't even play. That was right. I didn't have my guitar with me that day. I just sang it. It was a whim the first time it happened. I just sang the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Pride and Joy. It's one of my favorite things to do at gigs. And so I was like, all right, cool. I know that I'm good at this one. I just went for it. They liked it. And as you keep going through the hurdles, that one got requested by the higher ups. And I was like, of course I'm going to oblige to that. So by the time it was like, which one do you want to pick? Well, then you're deciding. I'm like, do I want to hit them with something new, or do I want to do the thing that's been working? And it's like I like this song, and I haven't been able to do it with a band ever. And I'm like, this would be really cool to do it like a full production of it. So I went with that. It was like the coolest moment.
Yeah. So did you have the opportunity to pick that song? Because I know sometimes on these shows they say, you know what, we think you should do this song, and then they just kind of like throw this song on you. So what was that like?
So I actually did get to choose to do Pride and Joy, which was really cool. Like when I think it was because that's like what I did the very first time. It's crazy how things work, and you don't know this until afterwards. But when I was in the convention center doing all that stuff, you're only singing in front of like one proctor, and there's no privacy. You're in a room with like 10 other contestants, if you will. Everybody's got a number. It's like a little semicircle. You go into the middle of the circle, you sing like 10 seconds or something, and then they kind of excuse you. We're getting lighting.
Okay, so for the lighting, have the light like be in front of your phone so the light projects right in front of your face. You know what I mean?
That works.
Okay, cool. I thought I would just do a little production cue there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm still learning. Fun being outside, right?
Yes.
So, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, so we were talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan and how you actually got to the song.
Right. So, when I was doing the cattle calls, what they call it, I actually, the proctor that was for my room specifically happened to be the owner of the casting company that The Voice uses. So when she's impressed, a lot of people end up finding out that she was impressed. So everybody from then knew that this was one of the songs to work. Like, this was one of the songs that worked. And as they kept on asking for it, I was already comfortable with it. Like, the first time she heard me do it was just vocal. So I think I got to skip, like, well, not skip, but as hurdles passed, I eventually got to introduce my guitar to it. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, he can play. I was like, yeah, this is what I do. So it was really fun actually choosing it because, there was a moment where I did get the opportunity to decide, which was nice. And like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. And it's like, you love that song already. So it's like, you love it, you know it like the back of your hand, and that's why you got the 4-chair turn, and you killed it.
It was such a moment. Oh my goodness. Like, the behind the scenes of that show, by the way, are actually really nice. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I will say I had a really good experience with the show, like on screen and off. Like, everybody treats each other well. I don't remember there being any funny business or anything like that. Like, when I was actually playing with the band for the first time on a rehearsal, I mean, it was hilarious because they're told we're going to do Pride and Joy. So I get into the room and they're like, 3, 2, a 3, 2, 1, go, boom, 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 and it was immediately horrible, and I was like, okay, hold on, I'm doing this way faster than the original, and I'm playing this up a minor third, and they're like, oh, okay, and then everybody can just adjust like that because they're all like world-class musicians.
Yeah.
So once they understand that I'm doing it a little different, and when we're grooving with it, I mean, it was like that one little thing, and then bam, they were just completely on the same page, and we're just going breakneck speeds, and it was fun. It was fun immediately. It was such a cool feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Loved it.
Especially because there's a full band behind you, and you're just used to it's just you and your guitar.
Yes, and they I like how the producers, handle a lot of things. Like before you get the actual chance to turn a chair, I like how they speak about it. They're like, remember, you've probably never been in the same room as these people.
Yeah.
Don't have your heart set on any one of them as a judge. Like just keep your mind open to it. Like you have no idea how this is going to turn out. You might, if you're open to a connection, you might make one in those minutes where they're talking about you. And then I also liked how they're just like, assume you're going to get the 4 chair. It's a nice bit of confidence. Like they're just like, look, if you're at this point, just assume that you're going to get the 4 chair. Like, like that's why you're here. So yeah, it was nice to hear that because confidence has been an interesting journey for me. Once again, I'm in a better place now than where I was. So when they tell you that you should believe in yourself, it's nice because that's kind of an authority to be telling you that. Like it's easy to listen to people in that stature, I should say.
Yeah, I think confidence, not know that they told you, just that's pretty cool.
You kind of cut out. I didn't hear all of that. Could you say that again?
Oh, so sorry. So it's kind of cool that they say to you, oh, Nelson, just expect the 4 chairs. Like, just expect it. Because then you go in there and you walk different. Because if you go in there and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure, I'm kind of nervous. But if you go in there and you're like owning the stage, it just comes across differently. And it's like, that's the coolest thing about it. Like when they say like, fake it till you make it, just fake it till you make it. Like just be in the moment, like confidence.
I remember the first time that I heard "Fake It Till You Make It," I was upset because I'm like, that doesn't seem like good advice. And I did a master class about a couple years ago at Anaheim High, and that's exactly the advice that I gave to them because I'm like, look, it's actually really good advice. It took me a while to understand that, but if you sit in your room wishing that you could be as good as some superstar, let's my mom taught me this. Let's say this is a true story actually. I was like about to get my first job and I was butthurt because like they weren't calling me back because I didn't realize that the whole "we'll call you" thing is just jargon for maybe like we have other things to do. Because if you tell me you're going to call me back, I'm thinking, all right, cool, I'll wait for that call. That is not what you do when you're searching for a job. You'll be waiting for a while. And I remember seeing Muse, actually. They were playing, like, in Wembley or just some super stadium. And I was like, man, I wish that could be me. Like, I should be doing that. My mom was like, if that stadium called you right now and they said that they needed you to open for this band tomorrow, are you ready? I was like, I don't know about all that. She's like, well, then why do you wish that you could be there? It's like, can't you get ready? I was like, yeah, I can totally get ready. And that changed my approach to practice. What am I practicing for? How am I practicing? Like, where is this goal? And my goal was like, yeah, I totally want to be on that kind of crazy, exaggerated level. I totally want to be playing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And when I thought about being prepared for that, even the word luck, the meaning changed. It's like, now I would describe luck as when preparedness meets an opportunity. You can get prepared for anything at any time. Like when I practice, I have like 3+ hours of music memorized just all the time. And I recycle. I like add in newer things and some things get left out because you're just always changing things out. But I sometimes get gigs like with less than 24-hour notice and couldn't really care less what it is. I'm prepared. Like with the whole Stevie Wonder thing, I did not practice because if Stevie Wonder walked in, I'm just going to be ready for that. I practiced because I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm just going to be ready for things. And when that happened, I mean, with some of God's help, I kept my composure, which was insane. But like, I could do that. You know, I could still play in front of somebody of like, you know, an actual giant. And now I feel like, yeah, Wembley did give me that call. Like, I'm taking it. Like, and I'm gonna knock the house down. Same thing with The Voice. Like, I didn't sign up for that. I didn't go in thinking, hey, I'm gonna audition today. Like, I got dropped off cold turkey.
Yeah.
And you gotta just, if you are ready, you don't have to get ready. You just stay ready. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. And for those people who do not know, Nelson was playing a gig and Stevie Wonder was in the house, which is crazy. And then Stevie went up on stage with Nelson. And I think you guys played for what, like a half hour together?
Basically around 45 minutes. He ended my set with me. Like, he just played the rest of my set. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh. What? At that point, it's like you can die a happy man because if
Yeah.
Stevie co-signs for you, you're like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I can get no's for the rest of my life. But Stevie Wonder, the one and only, is a huge fan.
Mm-hmm. That was a pretty big moment because that was before any voice things was popping off. That was when I still had a day job. That led me to, that was one of the biggest single instances of, Nelson, you need to pursue this wholeheartedly. Like, it's kind of hard to argue with something like that happening because when that happened, it blew up. Like, before I even got home, there were people texting me that I hadn't talked to in years talking about, Nelson, you're trending on TMZ. And I was like, this happened like 30 minutes ago. How? And like the news started like rolling up to my job, like Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7. Like, all of these news vans were just coming to where I was working, which was the coolest way to quit, by the way. Like, well, I mean, yeah, I kind of had to. I was starting to learn the value of my time.
Yeah.
I was, I mean, it was that push. One of the reporters said something really interesting to me off camera. She's like a Pulitzer winner too. She was really, really good at her job.
Mm-hmm.
And she took me aside and she's like, look, I've been covering stories and people of Stevie Wonder stature for like decades. She's like, this kind of thing doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, this is not my first Stevie Wonder piece. This is not my first superstar piece. And she's like, they don't do stuff like this. Yeah. You know, like, it's too much of a risk. They're not going to affiliate themselves with, you know, somebody that they don't know. Like, if he heard that in you, like, that was real. This whole thing, like, that's why everybody's interested, because this was a very real thing that happened. And her saying that kind of struck a chord with me because I'm still on the actual high of, oh my God, I just played with Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Like, for her to put that into perspective, like, this is way more special than you realize. It, you know, I had to back up and I was like, oh wow. And then, yeah, when you start looking back on it, there's not a lot of other instances of stuff like that happening. I was like, oh, geez. And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, that does seem like God is involved at this point. It feels like this was crazy divine intervention. Like, I didn't know where he was. I would never in my wildest dream think that any celebrity, let alone him, was going to walk into where I was playing, have his equipment, want to play with me, like all of that stuff. So I was like, I need to pursue this. I need to just, like, it's almost not even a leap of faith at that point. Like, it was, because, you know, you're still worried about bills and how you do live, but I was like, just try. So quit my job, and I was doing like 4 or 5 gigs a week, and it was definitely keeping my head above water, and it was great. Like, I loved the regiment of it all, you know, just being in a different place, meeting the people, and just, you know, the whole, like, not having a set list, just walking in and just playing what you feel. Yeah. It is such a good way to live. It is so liberating. It gives so much purpose and direction and color to my existence. And then The Voice happened, which blew everything out of proportion, out of the water. All kinds of things were happening, and life was very, very fun and beautiful. And then COVID hit, and everything went away. Yeah. Hence the depression. So it was a really interesting ride, and once again, much better place, professionally, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. Like, okay, let's just get to the nitty-gritty. So I just came back from my last tour. Since I live in Baltimore, now I'm touring the East Coast, trying to get my name in circles out here since I'm so used to LA and California.
Of course.
And I got to play for two very powerful people that I did not think I was going to get the chance to play for. Got to impress both of them. That was really exciting.
Yeah.
One of them was in Atlanta, and the other one was in Florida. So, to make a long story short, I got signed to a label.
Wait, is this like the exclusive
Yeah.
here
I,
on my show?
I haven't really been able to talk about it yet, but I can now, and I'm
Oh,
officially signed. I'm
I
really
just
excited.
your whole body, Nelson. That's awesome.
I am officially with First Note Entertainment. I saw them come in earlier. The
Yeah,
owner is Tommy Jackson. He is the coolest guy.
yeah.
So I was networking because I follow another huge like entertainment like mogul, and his name is Craig King, and I was following him, and just try to keep up with him. If he's see, there we go. I love
Oh,
you too,
first
Tommy.
note. We love you. Oh,
Right?
that's amazing.
Yeah, he has a really good organization, and I'm very very happy to be working with them. That when I said that I was doing a couple of co-writes, it's with them,
Yeah,
which was new. I was learning how other people write and how other people operate and all this structure and organization of songwriting that I've never been introduced to.
right.
So it's all additive now. I get to use that in addition to how I write, which is so cool. We already came up with a song. I'm excited for that. It's already being produced and everything. There's so many things in the works that are happening.
Yeah.
Um, they're going to be helping me with getting my album out, which is the other exciting thing because that's one of the reasons they were interested. They heard what I was doing, with Josh and Austin, and
Yeah.
they're like, just the three of you guys did this, and I was like, yeah, like I wrote the song, chord progression, lyrics, and he's like, wait, you're not just the singer, and I was like, no, I wrote this, and he's like, when was the last time we heard somebody who could actually do both? I was like, okay, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and then I was so happy with our last conference call because, I wanted to do right by, my friends, by Josh and Austin. So when I got to have them included and help illustrate how paramount they were to this album being what it is, and then I got to make them look as amazing as they are in front of the label and everything, it just made my heart feel so good because I could see Josh's face light up because he's getting the affirmation that I've been trying to give him, but I'm not in the position to.
Yeah.
So yeah, just all kinds of really really cool things have been happening. We're going to be pitching it to all kinds of entities. So the plan is to get these different tracks in things like commercials, movies, Netflix shows, all that kind of thing. Stuff that I wouldn't really be able to do on my own. So they are really good at this, and I can't wait to see what happens. But there's a very good chance that you will be hearing things that I wrote and sing on things that you watch. I'm really excited about that.
Oh my God, that's so cool because it's so. I think of when I watch TV and you see like an Apple commercial, right? Everybody is like amazed at these Apple commercials because it's literally just a phone and they throw it up, but there's always like some cool song behind it, and
Yes.
you think of like, oh my God, who sings that? And then you look them up, and then you're like, oh my God, I heard this on an Apple song. So you being exposed to like movies and TVs and commercials and everywhere is so awesome.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Uh, every aspect of this label and the company, First Note Entertainment, has been one transparent and two, I'm going to say adept.
Yeah.
These are not mediocre people by any stretch of the word. They're all good at what they do, and they work well with each other. And I think the most important thing is that they treat each other and themselves well.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day, that's what I need.
That's
Like,
really different because the thing is, like, and I'm sure you've heard this from other people that you know, like, some people and labels are just, not about the artist. They're kind of just for themselves. And like we said on the previous episode, like, sometimes they do some shady shit. So it's like,
yes,
you gotta, be with the right people. Like, your team is so important. So for you to have those two guys on the album with you and for you to be with First Note now and it's family and it's positivity, and it's so important when the label works all together and it's like, we're here for Nelson.
Yeah, like just to help you understand what I mean by family, like I got to meet Tommy in person. He took me to his house. I got to meet his wife. I got to meet his brother. I got to meet his sister. Like it's as real as it's gonna get, you know? Like there was nothing to possibly be left to interpretation. They were very serious about this. And I don't take that lightly. Like that's always an honor and a privilege to be invited into somebody's home. That is not a right. You know, like
COVID.
yes. So
What?
it everything felt correct. Everything felt good.
That's
And yeah, meeting them all, it was just like that was just like the icing on the cake. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping that it was. And whoo, man, being with these guys feels really good. Like I've already written once with his brother. His brother's an amazing, legendary songwriter, total like Nashville cat, and which is cool because that Nashville's new to me. Like this was like my first time in this like realm. So
right.
I'm learning all of these new things, and it's like this cool mesh with how I've been writing music. And we already wrote two things, and I'm happy about both of them. So it happens fast.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's all like coming together. That's so amazing. So, what else do you want to tell us about this album? Like, what can you tell us about the album without getting in trouble? Like, what do you want to tease about it?
So the name of the album is called Totally Unrelated.
Okay.
I'm still looking for album artwork, so if anybody has suggestions, like if there's any artists in the chat, please feel free to send me stuff. I'm not set on anything just yet. I'm choosing from photos and whatnot, but you know, I like things that are eclectic. It doesn't have to be like my face or likeness. Just surprise me. There really isn't anything that's off the table. I'm a weird guy, and I like weirdness. Um, let's see. There's going to be 7 or 8 tracks. I believe there's 8.
Mhm.
One song is still kind of in a weird area of production, so we'll see what happens with it. But all of the songs are lyrics I wrote, song structure I wrote, and then bass and drums all lost in. Any kind of synth, organ, piano, guitar, or any other instrument is me. And
Yeah.
then the majority, and here's the really cool thing, the majority of the album is live instruments. It's not really too much of the stuff that most people are used to hearing. Because, like, excuse me, on the radio, you're going to hear a lot of, like, beats and pads. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with it. That's still music. It's awesome.
Right.
But, you know, there's very few performers, I think. There's very few artists out there who you're going to see on stage playing something while they're singing the song that you love so much. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons why I think this album is going to be so cool. It's a little different than what a lot of people might be used to. Yeah. For instance, Love Like Sand, which is one of the ones I'm going to play for y'all tonight.
Yeah.
At one point in the production, Josh and his crazy producer brain, because I can't think like this, he was like, hey, I want you to just try doing this one thing in the chorus. Just sing this one part. So I sing the one part. He's like, all right, cool. Do it again with a weirder voice. And I was like, weirder how? He's just like, just do something weird. And I was like, okay. And then we keep recording it. We start doing different intervals and all this crazy stuff. And before I know it, we have 100 vocals on, like, not even 30 seconds of the song. Literally just 100 layers. And it's really cool. And it's not even overpowering. Like, if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't think it was that much. But it's just...
Yeah.
That's how Josh works. It's one of the reasons why our synergy is so cool. Like, he throws something out, and I don't need to know everything about it. I'm like, I know he's good at what he does, so I trust him. I just go with it.
Yes. Oh,
that's such a cool song.
Oh my gosh, I'm so amped to hear this song. Like, I need to hear this album. I truly do, because you're like getting me so excited. I know the people in the chat are excited to hear it too. Also, we need to figure out how to get Stevie Wonder this album. Like, he needs to hear this.
That's already in the works as well. I have like a couple of channels to communicate with him, so okay. he'll be getting this as well as everybody else on The Voice and all that stuff. I mean, when this is ready, there's no hard date for the release just yet, but yeah, I'm blowing this up out of proportion. This was a passion piece that, once again,
Yeah.
should not have been finished. And it did. And it was so cool. I
Mm-hmm.
am happy to say that I'm actually proud of every single track on this album. Like, I'm happy with all of it. None of it felt like a compromise. And it
Yeah.
was crazy because, like, when I write with, what's at my disposal. I've got a guitar, I've got a piano. So, like, most of the time when I'm imagining the song, that's what I have, that with my voice. So when I got to bring it to Josh and Austin, I'm literally watching it transform.
Mm-hmm.
It's being recorded professionally. I get to put in all the cool effects that work, but he knows how to do it in a way where it's not overpowering. Like, because once again, my music production is like ooga booga, I'm caveman, just press this button and it does it to everything. And I don't know how to be surgical with it, but
Yeah.
he's amazing. And, watching Josh be like, how about we do this? And then Austin being able to do crazy. Austin is better at drums than he has any business being at drums, and also he's an excellent musician.
Yeah.
Just over like we nerded out so much in that studio, like, just so much, and it's crazy. Like, "Good Morning Beautiful,"
Mm-hmm.
that song transformed. I want to say like 4 times over. What it originally sounded like versus what it is now. I just got happier and happier and happier and happier with it. It's crazy seeing it change in front of you.
Yeah.
I can't explain that. That was really new.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm like, you're like getting me so excited to hear this album. So the album is coming, but you're also doing a show at the Baltimore Jazz Fest, which we pinned below. So
Yes.
Nelson, tell us about Baltimore Jazz Fest. I know we talked about this a little at the beginning, but there are some people that just joined the chat. So what can you tell the beautiful people right now watching about Baltimore Jazz Fest?
August 29th, if you're in the DMV area, come down to Baltimore. Links right there. I'm going to be doing, I believe, a 30-minute set. So you get to get comfortable. I think I'm on the second day. I'm August 29th, surefire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get to do a 30-minute set. I'm going to be losing my mind a little bit. Jazz is a new venture for me, so this is going to be kind of experimental.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about my shows, that's kind of my thing, is experimenting. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an excellent show. Baltimore is actually kind of known for their jazz. I didn't even know this. CB Wonder from Baltimore.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Better be a jazz fest then.
Jeez, that would be pretty crazy. But no, the Baltimore jazz scene is very much alive, and it's an honor to be a part of it. Like, when they reached out, I was like, yeah, I would totally like to be a part of this. This would be amazing. So
That's
it's going to be a good show.
So guys, next month, get those tickets. Baltimore Jazz Fest. Come on, what else are we doing? We're not doing anything. Like, we're stuck in our houses. Get out of the house, buy tickets, and go to Baltimore and see my guy Nelson.
Do it. It's a great time. There's also a lot of good food in the city. So,
oh yeah, you guys have incredible food in Baltimore.
One of my favorite things, I love Peruvian food. If you guys are in the city, DM me. I got you with the spot. Oh, get some lomo saltado.
Ooh. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, for all the beautiful people watching right now, where can they find you, Nelson, on all your social platforms?
If you were to search my name, Nelson Cade, Cade 3, you'll find me. It's pretty consistent across everything. My Facebook is Nelson Cade III.
Yeah.
My Instagram is Nelson Cade III. My Twitter is also Nelson Cade 3. I need to be better about posting there, but I think I have a TikTok. Once again, need to get better at posting, but I will. I've been really, it's not an excuse, but at the end of the day, I've been busy creating, and now I need to be busy creating content. So, which is cool though. Like, everything's got its place. I was where I needed to be, and I did it, and now I get to do this stuff. So I'll be posting more, and it's crazy. Like, what I need is, like, people just around me that videotape things. I know that sounds so lame, but, like, since I've lived in Baltimore, it's still kind of a new place for me, because technically I've lived here for like a year, but I've been on the road so much, it feels like I've only been here for like 30, maybe 60 days, right?
Yeah.
One of my things to, like, graft the city into my brain is I'll just walk around with my guitar and I'll just play, wander aimlessly. That's just, no matter where I am, that's my thing. It's how I feel comfortable. So I stumble upon so many really cool adventures. And if I could have somebody with me to capture them, it would be amazing. Like, there was one time I was walking at night in this really pretty area called like Fells Point, and just strolling, playing to myself. You know, I mean, I'm audible; other people can hear me, but I'm not like trying to put on the show. I'm just walking and doing my thing.
Yeah.
And this woman comes and like sits next to me. Like I sit down next to the water. There's a really cool bay. This woman sits next to me and asks for like an old song. She's like, something that's kind of like a love song. I was like, okay, I got you. So I play La Vie en Rose, and she starts crying, and I was like, oh no, like I felt bad. I don't really understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And you know, we're talking a little bit. I don't get all the context, but I, you know, end up having to walk away because it's like, okay, I did my best. I'm just going to let you soothe and everything.
Yeah.
I get about, 50 steps away. Some guy approaches me. He's like, hey, how much would it cost for you to sing a song to my girl real quick? And I was like, wait, what? Throw out a price. He pays me. And then walks me back to this woman that apparently that was this girl. They were in the middle of, I guess they're like, it's not the wedding dinner, but it's the thing before that. Rehearsal dinner. There we go.
Yeah.
So, and I guess she was having a hard time. It was overwhelming. I don't know if I would say cold feet, but definitely like she is trying to like go through with this and struggling.
Yeah.
And when we were talking, that kind of came up, but not to that extent. She didn't divulge that. So I play a different love song, and I mean, you can just see them having this moment together. And it was like really, really cool and pretty, and they're hugging it out and they're both tearing up, but it's like it really didn't seem toxic. And it was just like, that's just one moment out of all kinds of random things that happen. I mean, there were more adventures that happened that same night, and I'm just like, this is totally the kind of stuff that I would like to post, because I don't think people would believe how much crazy stuff happens anytime I decide to just walk out and play.
You seriously need to find like someone in high school or something to just follow you around, because people in high school, they're like very hip to that like whole content TikTok 15 seconds of like in your face. Because like if you're by yourself, how are you going to get that? Like you can't get that content if you're the one playing the guitar.
Yeah, my hands are usually occupied.
So Nelson, tell the people right now watching, how can they support you as a musician?
How can you support me as a musician? I haven't thought about that. Oof. There's like, the lamest way I could think of. You could just Venmo me money.
Yes, Venmo. What's your Venmo? Tell everybody what your Venmo is.
I'm pretty sure it's the exact same thing, just Nelson Cade III. It should be, all of my things are going to have a picture of me, and I have a Cash App. It's also the same thing. So that's one thing. Money always helps. I'm not going to lie. That will always be appreciated. I can do cool things, you know, music-wise with people's funding.
Yes.
You can also, you know, like, I love it when people share and comment and like, I know that sounds really lame, but one, it's free, which is why I like people doing that. And then two, it helps. There are so many algorithms that are beyond my control, where if you like things and you, sharing is like the biggest in my opinion. Second to sharing is commenting. But if you take things that we create and you proliferate them, we get a bigger reach, we get a bigger audience, we get way more pull with the things that get us to the next level. So yeah, like if you go through my Instagram and you see videos like my Linkin Park video, you see really crazy wacky covers, and you're like, okay, I dig this. Why don't people know about this?
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest ways to help me. Have other people know about it. Comment it, share it, save it, put it on your story, anything. Like, the more that, first of all, every single thing that you do gets tracked. Do not take that for granted. If you put something on a story, believe me, that is a part of an algorithm, and I will get credit for things. Please tag me every time you do something like that. That also helps, because then I get to be aware of it instead of just Instagram.
Right.
And, you know, just support your local artists. Like, if you can come out to see a show, please do. I tend to impress people in person, that's something that I pride myself on. Like, I'm not the whole, I need all of this auto-tune and all these crazy things to sound good, and I can only sound good in the studio. Like, I came from gigs. I came from classical practice. Like, I have to be the authentic thing because that's where I came from. Integrity is a huge center point of my art.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely share the content when you see it, because the thing is, even if 5 people follow you, you never know what 5 people could be like, oh my God, I love Nelson. And then they end up following you, then they share their, so it's all word of mouth for these artists.
Yes.
And it's really important to like and share and comment, because guess what? You could sit here and like stuff and 160 people like something, but if someone just says, oh my God, Nelson, I love that cover, it's so amazing, that means more than just a like at times.
It does. It means a lot more.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that just like stuff, but it's like, okay, I'm glad you liked it, but like, what did you think about it?
Right. Like, if I encourage you guys to go to the Linkin Park one. I'm just going to keep talking about that because, one, I'm proud of it. It was a really cool cover.
I want that one too.
Like, that song is high school for me. I came from classical, so I listened to exclusively classical. I was raised in a very religious, sheltered house, so I didn't really hear a lot of secular music until like high school. And I remember that's where iPods were a thing, and my friend put in like a little earbud in my ear, and it was Linkin Park, and I was like, I didn't know you could do this. Like, I'm used to church music, so this blew my mind, and I had to consume more. I was like, who is Chester, and how do I find out? Like, I started listening to so much stuff. Crawling in My Skin was just always such a cool song, and then I heard the Reanimation version. I was just like, okay. So I did a loop where I kind of took the chord structure and I'm going to say I deconstructed it. I don't know a better way to put it. Like, I made it very strange. And then I take the exact same lick. I took the same lick and I put it on an entirely different chord progression. But I sing the song the exact same way. I'll be a little more lyrical, a lot less screamy. Let Chester do his thing. That's not my thing. Although I probably will learn how to scream because I like that kind of music, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool cover because, one, it's looping stuff, and two, the title's there. You see that this is Crawling, but as I'm setting it up, it doesn't make sense. You're like, how is this going to become Crawling? And then by the time I start singing it, you're like, wow, that worked. And it's really fun.
It's phenomenal, and I posted it on my stories earlier. So guys, if you have not seen the Linkin Park Crawlin' video that Nelson did, please go to my stories from earlier, because the video in its entirety, and share it with your friends, like it, comment, just support. That's all.
Yes, thank you all.
Yes. So, Nelson, this is the part of the show where you are going to take it away and do a little performance.
All right, cool. Let's see. What do I want to start off with? I'm going to do Love is Like Sand, because I said that I would. Yeah. And this one is a crazy important song to me. Because another part of the Depression, in addition to all the quarantine stuff and opportunities coming and going, was also heartbreak. And I had to dwell on that for a while. I had to do a lot of growing, a lot of putting yourself back together. And I came to this conclusion that love is like sand, and this is how I express it. Well, it ain't so bad losing everything you ever had. I know it feels like a lie when you break it down, just a pile of tiny rocks. After all I've learned, I can tell you love's a lot like sand. It's lighter than a breeze, and harder than it seems. You wanna hold it, don't love. It's a lot like sand. There's one thing you should understand. Funny thing about sand, it's carried in the air sometimes. Till all of a sudden, it's dirt in your eye, what's to do? Oh no, you've got to help me out. What you saw before, you can't see the same now, because love's a lot like sand. It's lighter than a breeze, and harder than it seems. You wanna hold it, don't love. It's a lot like sand. There's one thing you should understand. Can I lose my mind just for a minute? I spent so much time in it. Now I'm stuck on the shore, just watching the waves as they beat on the sand over and over again. I think love is a lot like sand. It's lighter than a breeze, and harder than it seems. You wanna hold it, don't love. It's a lot like sand. There's one thing you should understand. Funny thing about sand, it's a lot like sand. It's lighter than a breeze, and harder than it seems. 'Cause if you want to hold love, don't squeeze.
Yes! I feel like we could all identify with that song, Nelson. I feel like, I mean, love is like sand. It just disintegrates in the air, right?
Yup. Funny you should say that. My boy Julius, one of my favorite cousins, is in the chat. He is a videographer, and he is also better than he knows he is.
Oh my God, Julius.
So he basically made what is going to be my first music video. That's
cool!
Love Like Sand is what he did. It's crazy. Like, he has a drone with a video camera on it. We got all these crazy shots at the beach. Also, got to feature a really attractive person from The Voice is going to be in my music video. So that's going to be really cool. And that will be a secret. I'm not saying who it is, but
we won't know until we see it.
Yes.
Creative
Julius. That's my boy. Yo, brother man, dude, I got two cousins on my chat.
Oh yes. I love it. I love it.
Oh man. So that's going to be a music video. Also, yeah, the way Josh produced it, it is the coolest thing, as a complete work. So proud of that song.
Yeah.
Second one I'm gonna do, also from the album. This one has a totally different meaning now. For another interview. Okay. A lot of story behind this one. This one's called Good Morning Beautiful. I'm gonna need to take my rings off for this one. This one is a lot of movement. Ever feel maybe this isn't life? Maybe you never got it right. Well, not this time. I thought we weren't supposed to make mistakes, but I make more every day, and that's alright. 'Cause when I look outside and I see the sky, I know it's real, and I feel alive for the first in a long, long time. I can't tell you how that feels. Suppressing, relinquish the message. My heart's caught in the tide. It's never-ending push and pull. Confessing, slowly undressing. There's only one way to start off your day. Good morning, beautiful. 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 It's not the words, it's the way you say them. It's not the chords, it's the way you play them. It's not our hearts, it's the way we change them. I think we're better than them. I think we're better than better than better than better than better again. Relinquish the message. My heart's caught in the tide. It's never-ending push and pull. Confessing, just slowly undressing. There's only one way to start off her day. Good morning, beautiful. 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 Confessing, relinquish the message. My heart's caught in the tide. It's never-ending push and pull. Confessing, just slowly undressing. There's only one way to start off her day. Good morning, beautiful.
Yes! Oh my God, I want that to be my alarm when I wake up every morning. Like, that's the
I'll take that.
song to wake up to.
That was the idea. I just always loved that. I'm so happy with these.
Thank you so much for giving me those two exclusives, because this album hasn't even come out yet. I am so hyped. So you have to let me know when this drops, because you're coming back on. We're going to go into detail about all these songs and all this good stuff. Guys, do you have any questions for Nelson? If so, feel free to put them in the comment section below. Oh my God, there's so much love going on in this chat right now.
I know, right? I'm loving this. I love the bubble hearts. So
I
cool.
know. So first one says, now you see why we are so excited, and we love his mom and dad. Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yes, they are such a family-oriented. I'm telling you, they're just good people.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that is so amazing. You guys are so awesome. So guys, if you have questions for Nelson about the new album, about Baltimore Jazz Fest, maybe he can't say everything about some of these things, but feel free to ask away. If you could sing another song with Stevie Wonder, what song would you want to sing with him?
You know, I would really like singing one of the songs that's going to be on the album. I think that this is probably going to be my first single, which is why I didn't play it yet, because once again, I will be on this channel with you, because you are like my, I don't want to say my reporter, you're my journalist. I don't know how to say, you're like my interviewer. Like you, Nelson, like Ashley is, yeah.
Nelson, whatever you call me, I'm fine. As long as you don't call me late to dinner, call me whatever you want.
I got you. But there's a song on the album called Freedom.
Uh-huh.
I would want to sing that with Stevie. I think that he would really like that song. He would lose his mind with that, and I think that that would just be the cool. We would both just we would be having a ball because it's a fun song. It's fast. It's just up, and I think that he resonates with what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Very cool. Where is your dream venue?
Oh my goodness, my dream venue. I mentioned it earlier in the interview. I've always wanted to rock Wembley, like the giant super stadium where all the megastars have played in Europe. Yeah,
Yep.
I want to do that. That is like, if and actually no, not if, when that happens, that's going to be a huge moment for me. Um, I wasn't really set on this until recently, but I've also come to really want to play at the Grand Ole Opry. That would
That's
be really cool.
awesome.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden. You know, all the things were all the places where crazy things happened.
Yeah.
And then just because I want to be weird, somehow I want to have like the most unconventional concert ever, like something crazy, like I am on the side of a building, like in Dubai or something.
Yes.
Like that would be insane. Just playing
Yes.
something that makes no sense, like some Mission Impossible stuff. That'd
That
be
was
cool.
so cool. You could do like a so far sound show, and because you know how they have those so far sound shows, and they have them in those like really random places. I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure if you pitch that to So Far Sounds, they would be down because they're always into doing like little intimate shows in crazy places.
I had one gig when I was in California, where I was playing at a hotel, but it was really weird. Like the hotel was built very vertically, and then there are like these panels that come out. So it's not like a general walkway. The
Yeah.
only people who would be able to see me when I'm on this panel is all of the patios of the people in the hotel.
Wow.
So I played a gig where I'm on the panel, so everybody is in their rooms, just on their little patio, sitting, just chilling, and I'm like hooked up, so everybody can just chill in their own little room, see the other people in their rooms, and they're just
Yeah.
listening. That was I love that. That was, I mean, what a COVID safe venue, right? That was so ingenious that they did that. That was a really cool gig. I'd love to do other things like that.
Definitely. So, Nelson, do you have any final words for the room?
Any final words for the room? First of all, thank you all so much for checking out the interview. Ashley is amazing. I'm glad that you guys are following me on my journey. There is so much journey to be had. I feel like this is the cusp of things. Like, whew, it's happening. It's happening. This is in progress. This is no longer incipient. And I think that this is just going to kind of be my sign off. Like, just, you know, be good to each other, be good to yourselves. It costs, I had this conversation with one really good friend yesterday. It costs us so little to be good.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that 10-minute call that you could have with somebody. It doesn't have to be a call with a point. It could be, hi, the sky is blue today and I wanted to hear your voice. You have no idea how far that could
Yeah.
go. That like,
Yeah.
just do that. You know, just challenge yourself to do that. Once a day is plenty. Changing one person's life a day is plenty. And just be good, you know? That's really all. I feel like that's a great daily goal. That's a lot to do for a life. I feel like that's a life well lived. If you were good every day, or at least you aimed to be,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Yeah. And call one person, like you said, and just say, hey, I saw this TV show and I thought of you and it made me miss you and I hope you're doing well. And even if they hang up on you, at least you took the first step.
Yes, even if they hang up on you, they heard you say that,
And you
and it helps.
exactly, exactly. Nelson, thank you so much for talking about the new album, sharing the new songs, Baltimore Jazz Fest in a couple weeks. Get
Yes.
tickets. Guys, so much is going on with Nelson. I'm so honored he decided to come back on my show and share this all with you guys. If you don't already, please make sure to follow Nelson, donate to the Venmo, donate to the Cash App, get the tickets to Jazz Fest. It's a couple weeks away and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Nelson, you're so amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, if you love this interview and you love good music, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. And guys, be safe, be good to each other, and have a great weekend.
Peace, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.